doing review of the body. Thank you for all the homework assignments that everyone submitted. Um, so we'll review those. We'll review the Kuchishoga and make sure that we get any questions answered, so that hopefully we're starting to feel pretty confident about that. We'll practice together for a while, and then at the end, I'll give you sort of looking ahead to next week, what we'll be doing and what you can prepare for. I thought we could start off as our like opening exercise. You can say something exciting that happened over the past week for you. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be Taiko related. Anything that you happen to be excited about. And I'll even, past week can be as flexible as you want it to be. So I'll start. We'll do the same thing we did last week. I'll start. I'll pick someone, and then whoever goes can choose the next person. Um, so for me, one of the exciting things that happened is I got to I got to hang out with some of my East Coast friends, and I don't really like Zoom. Zoom happens so often, it gets kind of fatiguing. But that wasn't not that I'm not happy to be on Zoom with you all. That's kind of an awkward thing to say right now, um, but yeah, it gets a little tiring when you're doing it all the time. But it was really cool to hang out with some of my high school friends and see what they've been up to and sort of catch up, especially since typically I would hang out with them when I go home in December, but I'm not going home this year, so I won't get a chance to go hang out with them in person and stuff. So it was nice to catch up with them. All right. I'll choose the next person.
Okay.
And I'll choose Paula. Okay. Put Paula right in the hot seat as soon as she joins.
Oh God.
Yay. Okay, so Paula, welcome. What we're doing is this our intro exercise for today is we're saying something exciting or that you were excited about that happened roughly within the last week or so. So I just went and I said that it was fun for me to have a Zoom call with some of my friends from Baltimore. So you're next. I choose you, and then you can choose the next person after that.
Exciting that has happened. Oh God, I should have studied before today. I think something exciting that happened on Remembrance Day, we drove up to see my parents, and my husband was learning how to fly a drone. And so my kids and I, we made like tracks in the deep snow, and we spelled out, like we drew poppies in the snow, and my husband flew his drone over, and that was just a lot of fun. So I guess that's something that is sort of exciting.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I have to pick the next person. Judy.
Oh, geez. Put my drink down, my coffee down. Honestly, the most exciting thing that happened was we got to play taiko again. Yay, I was so happy, actually. Let's see. How about Ritsuko?
That quick? I didn't have too much exciting stuff going on, but I was happy that it didn't rain today, because last Saturday it rained, and then my jodo, we've been training on Saturday, and I was so bummed last week. So I was happy that I get to go today. So yeah, try to hit somebody. That makes me really happy. Okay, I am going to choose Patsy.
Okay. So what was exciting for me this week is probably mundane for you guys, but I didn't know how to take a video of myself and load it up to YouTube so I could send it to you. When I figured it out, I was so happy. So
you're awesome.
That was my excitement. Yeah. And I pick Sally.
Okay, my exciting thing, I teach at Loyola Marymount University. I teach screenwriting, and usually this is like when my students are in full freak out, like almost the end of the semester. Oh my God! And especially now that we're doing everything on Zoom, and none of them are freaking out, and all of them are like knocking it out of the park, and I'm so proud of them. And so that was really exciting for me. I am going to choose, Debbie, have you been chosen yet? No. Okay.
One thing that was really exciting for me today was one of the patient I work with. She is a 68-year-old woman that has long been struggling with shoulder injury. And as we were doing a simple just shoulder circle exercise, I told her to just imagine that her shoulder blade was a blade and think about how the shoulder blade was just falling backwards towards the ground as she moves her arm. And literally in that moment, her shoulder stopped making the crunking, clicking sound. As we all know that when we move our shoulder, the sound happens. And her mind, you just almost saw it explode. And that was super exciting for all of us, or both of us, I should say. And her excitement, that was just really rewarding and exciting for me. So we embraced it very much so. So that was my moment for the week. Connie.
Hi. Well, I'm excited that I'm actually walking every day since Election Day. And I went on a spectacular hike this afternoon in my neighborhood. I forget that we have hiking trails just nearby in the Peck Park Canyon, and it's nice to revisit your own neighborhood and appreciate it again.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, everyone. So one thing I realized I forgot to do last week that we can still do is our aisatsu. We can open and close our class meetings. Somehow, if I'm not like in a room, it doesn't feel like I feel compelled to do it for whatever reason. But anyway, we can still do it. So it's going to be kind of a mess, but I think it could be fun. So everyone can unmute at the same time. And I'll say dozo. And then after that, we'll all say yoroshiku onegai shimasu, and it'll be this fun cacophony that we can do. So here we go. Dozo. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. All right. So today is kind of a mishmash of lots of different stuff that I want to get through, but the goal is pretty well defined, which is that I want to solidify our understanding of the body, the rhythms and the movements that we have, so that hopefully, from today, just looking at the sort of tutorial videos will be enough to remind you of the things that we've practiced, that you can start to get more and more comfortable with the parts. So yeah, I got everyone's homework submissions. Thank you for sending those. Some of you sent pretty, like, I don't know. I don't want to say like funny, like haha funny, but like it was kind of nice for me to see the process of people figuring out like how to use the metronome, or like how to, like Patsy said, how to upload it and send it and stuff like that. And frankly, that's why we're doing this now. These are some of the hard parts of making virtual content, is like getting the right angle, the right shot. If we look at Paula's video today, Paula has a cool like mirrored angle in hers, which is kind of nice. So yeah, choosing your angle, choosing your setting, not making mistakes long enough to get the shot to work. These are all things that we'll need to be practicing. So I think it's good to start practicing sooner than later. So thank you all for dealing with that and starting to get used to it. Connie's afraid to look at the camera. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's various things. I honestly, I don't like filming myself at all. I think Sally actually said that in her video. I don't like it either, but this is what we're all gonna be getting used to for now. So yeah, what I'd love to do is kind of go through the videos and watch them together. And I'll like give you some notes that you can, from your video that you sent, but I think we're all gonna see that some of the notes are pretty similar. Like we all need to work on similar things. But I guess this is the time, if anyone absolutely does not want other people to look at their video, I will encourage you to reconsider, but I will allow it if you are really, really against it. So is anyone in that camp where you're just like, I can't do it, no one can look at my video? Woohoo! All right, that's great. Because ideally, at the end of this class, we're gonna make something that more or less the whole world can look at. So we should start with being okay with each other looking at them. All right. Let's see. So if everyone is okay, then I think I'll just sort of go down the list. Let's see. Maybe I can just do it alphabetically. Let's see. Judy, I can screen share, right? Oh yeah, I have that option. Okay, so Connie is gonna be first alphabetically. Not full screen. I see. Okay, so share Connie video.
We don't see your screen yet, David. Oh, there it goes.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So here's Connie. This is the Kuchishoga video first. Here we go.
Don, doko, don, doko, doko, don, doko, don, doko, don, su, don, kodon, don, don, su, kon, kodon, don, doko, kodon, don, sa, so, re, doko, kodon, kon, ka, sore, ka, sudon, don, kon, don.
Okay. So first of all, I mean, Connie, this was pretty strong for the most part. Your timing when you're only saying Kuchishoga is in general very good. And when you do get off, you seem to notice it and you're able to come back to it. That's really important. In the final version of whatever we produce as the recital video, it doesn't need to be perfect. Like we're not or I guess to borrow a quote that Isaku probably says every week, we're not trying to win a Grammy with what we produce here. Okay, so it needs to be confident, but it doesn't need to be perfect. So, if you speed up or slow down a little bit, that's probably okay, as long as we like notice it and then try to correct that before it gets too far out of whack. So this is really good. In the third line, I think we changed the rhythm a little bit, potentially improved it. It actually sounded really cool. But we'll review the spreadsheet and just make sure that some of these syncopated rhythms are like we're all on the same page. And we'll probably end up seeing that in a few other folks' videos too. Props for the old school metronome. I'm almost like maybe we should just include that in the actual recital recording because it's amazing. So, okay, this is Connie's Kuchishoga video. Let's take a look at the Taiko video. Okay. Do you still see it? Do you see the Taiko video now? Okay, great. Okay, here we go.
Mi, sol, re.
All right. Yeah, good work. Good work. So same thing here. There's a few, timing like aberrations every now and then, but in general, you're not letting them get really, really out of control, and that's good. That's really good to see. The hard thing is that since we're going so slowly, some of these movements are actually harder to do because you need to take a lot of time to do them. Like looking at some of these parts, for example. Right? So you had to pause there. What that in general, what we're going to see is when we're doing these really slow practice recordings, we need to like expand the time. So you'll need to go, for example, do, kon, ko, don, and don't move this arm too fast. Really like take your time expanding outwards. And then even here, don, the right hand is going to hit, but we don't want the left hand to go don and go really fast the other way. You'll get sort of bound up if you do it that way. I think, what did I say? Between 80 and 92 BPM for this practice recording. So I had a funny moment, and I realized that. So I was like, oh gosh, that's way too fast when I was going through it. And then I was like, why did I tell them to do that? And then I realized that I did intend to do it that way, but what I didn't specify is that the 80 to 92 is an eighth note click. So if we convert that to a quarter note, it's going to be half, right? So we're at like somewhere between 40 and 46 BPM. I think the actual goal tempo is more going to be like 64 quarter note click. So something like don and doko and don and doko doko don. Rhythmically, that makes it more challenging a little bit, but the movements get easier. So we'll have to like find this balance. And let me also say, I want to choose our ultimate BPM based on what everyone is more or less comfortable with. So we can play it a little bit slower or even a little bit faster if it ends up that way, depending on how we're all feeling. Anyway, though, Connie, this is a good showing. This is a good place to start from. Like I said, I want to work out some of the rhythms just to make sure that we're on the same page with exactly where those hits are supposed to be, especially when there's syncopation or when there's a lot of space in the line. Sometimes it's hard to wait the full duration of the rest. But if we're kind of subdividing either in our head or like listening to the shime or whatever backing track, we can work out some of those things too. All right. Do you have any specific questions, Connie, from doing this?
I think line 3 seems to be where I struggle the most with timing and hits, but I did better than I thought I was going to do. I thought I was never going to learn it. And I did.
I'm glad. Yeah.
So many hours.
Good job. Good job.
So I feel accomplished.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Well, if you don't, we'll have some time for questions at the end if you think of anything else while we're watching other folks' videos. All right. Let's see. So Daniel would be next, but I'll come back to Daniel since he and Kara are not here. So next is Debbie. Okay. So here we go. By the way, I don't know if these are too loud or too quiet. I am assuming you can adjust that on your end if you need to. If for whatever reason it's like way too loud that you can't get it quite enough, or the opposite, let me know and I'll try to, you know, do what I can on this end. All right, so here's Debbie's Kuchi Shoga.
1、2、それ、ドン、どこ、ドン、どこどこドン、どこ、ドン、どこ、ドン、ドン、どこ、ドン、ドン、ドン、こドン、ドン、どこ、こどん、どん、さ、それ、どこ、こどん、どん、か、か、か、か、それ、か、か、す、じゃん。どん、どん、どん、どん、どん。
Nice. Yeah, background is pretty interesting. You could use this for like performance art version of Modori. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is really good. Some of the movements we'll wait to make comment. Wait to make comments on those for the Taiko video. I think you can most likely use more time for some of the movements, but yeah, it looks very impressive bar setup here. Debbie, just curious, did you like record this playing left-handed, or is that just how the video comes across?
I think it's my webcam.
I see. It mirrors. Okay, cool.
And I misread the metronome part. It's playing in my douche pod, but not out to, like, I have an earpod metronome in my head, but not out.
The kind.
Yes.
I see. Okay. That's okay. But anyway, just curious. We'll probably need to make sure that when we do the final recorder, or not, I don't know. Maybe we could have some folks playing left-handed and some playing right-handed. There might be something interesting there visually. But I was just curious about that. Okay, let's go to the Taiko video.
1、2、それ。はっ。さ、それ。それ。
Pretty good. Nice work. So let's see. How do I go back here? So from around here. Okay, so ideally, this right hand, the end of the right hand circle would take just a little bit longer. I'll show it to you again. So we can see it here. Right now, your both arms complete the series of circles at the same time, which is okay. It's fine, especially if we're playing faster. But because we have time, and your left hand is going to hit before your right hand could take longer to complete that circle. Does that make sense? Kind of. Okay. Yeah, I have to go back and watch what I did on the tutorial thing, but I think I mentioned that a little bit. But essentially, it's like if I'm going don, su, kon. Okay, so right, I can offset this circle a little bit so that the left hand is hitting as the right is coming up, and just like that tiny offset adds a little bit more dynamic to the motion. So what you did here is really good, but if I were going to give you the sort of next level of how to practice that motion, that offset is where it would be. And then the next thing here, let's see.
Sa, so, re.
Okay, so
Re.
you're well, let's go back a little bit farther.
Sa, so, re.
So the when you do this lasso-y motion, I think I think it's doable at this tempo the way you're doing it, but I'm imagining that if we play it faster, right now your strike is starting from here and you're really quickly whipping it around over your head into the drum. You're relatively strong, so you might be able to get away with that at faster tempos too. But the way that I actually think about it is more like do, don, don. As the left hand is coming in, we've already started the lasso. So it's not don, don quickly like that, but more of a smooth circle until here. And here's where the strike starts. So from here, elbow toward the drum over your head into the actual hit, as opposed to kind of thinking about it as the strike starts here and we just as quickly as possible go over and toward the drum. Yeah. So again, it doesn't look bad or anything, but this is one where I'm like, if we go faster, I'm not even sure this is possible. Like even for me, I think this will be very difficult to do. So something to think about there. Yeah. Overall, really, really strong though. Really good starting place for this. Do you have any questions? Cool. All right. Going on to, let's see, who is next? Judy. All right. I don't know if this is going to do the same thing here. All right, let's try. Wait, oh no, that didn't work. Okay, I have to share a different thing. Okay. All right, so here is Judy Airbachi. So the Kuchishoga part. Okay, here we go. Maybe, if my internet allows it to go. Is it going? No. No. Come on, internet.
I guess it's better to just send you the video, huh? Since they're short.
I mean, it played fine earlier. I don't know why it's not working right now.
Probably because you're on Zoom.
Yeah, maybe my internet can't handle it. Wait, okay, I'm gonna try starting over here. Okay, let me do it a different way. Sorry for the delay, folks. Does this work? Okay, so.
Mi, sol, re, don, do, con, don, do, co, do, co, don, do, con, don, do, co, don, con, co, don, 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 con, co, don, don, do, co, don, don, sa, sol, re, do, con, co, don, con, ka, 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 sol, re, ka, ka, su, don, 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 don.
Okay, good job, Judy. So there's a few elements Well, this is suggesting like really crazy. I can watch Akira animation. um, uh, so yeah, there's some really interesting like timing things. Like you'll speed up in some places and then not speed up for like a long time and then slow down in other places. I think it's kind of similar to what I want to work on with Connie, as far as like consistency, basically. I think that like you even mentioned the playing while keeping track of the metronome and thinking about Kuchishoga is kind of a lot to do. Yeah, and it is. It's like a thing that you have to practice, and until you get used to that, it's gonna feel like a very busy freeway. Like there's not enough lanes for the information to go through, so things get clogged up. That's okay because we are gonna be practicing that kind of stuff. As far as your motions, though, they look pretty good. You look pretty smooth. You have good extensions. So I think you could probably extend a little bit more, but some of that is going to come with like confidence in the timing as well. Okay, so I'm not super worried about that. I think for time's sake, Judy, I'm gonna leave it at that because when I watched your Taiko video, it was pretty consistent. So I think my notes would be basically the same. So yeah, do you have any questions?
No, just getting the metronome. Quite honestly, when the metronome's playing and I'm trying to play, I can't even hear it. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's too much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to make sure we have time at the end to do like a quick exercise that hopefully will help you, if not like today be able to do it, but at least start understanding how to sense the metronome and practice with it. Yeah. So moving right along, Kara would be next. Let's jump over Kara though. Okay, so Patsy. Let's see. Nothing is working now. It's so weird. Patsy. Okay, great. Share. Okay, so here's Patsy's Taiko video.
Sa, so, re. So, re. Su.
Okay, so let's see. Good work, Patsy. The first thing is the crescendo. So that one, yeah, we can start quieter there. And it's gonna be true for the one at the end too. Yeah, basically after you end that last hit, right? We have to keep the bachi down so that the doko has a nice progression from soft to loud. Okay, so this was really good. The way that you prepped that movement and you even kiai'd there, the ha, that's really good. We should all try to aim for that. So when you finish the first part of line 2, back, it's kind of in time that way. Don, su, don, do, don, back, don, su, don. So Patsy, that was really good. Nice job there. And
Sa, so, re.
good. So a little bit timing error with that left hand hit there, right? Do, con, ko, don, con, ka, ka, ka. And then technically the sticking, you did the opposite one. Yeah, but in your Kuchi Shoga video, you do it correctly. So I didn't really, I'm assuming that's just one of those little blips that happened. But yeah, so the main thing with line 3 is right now, your movement is really confined here. So you're going like do, don, everything's happening in front of your body, almost like Hachijo. And while this movement is like definitely Hachijo inspired, it's not exactly Hachijo. So we want to make sure that when we play the dokon, this dokon, it's coming all the way back. Kodon, as opposed to do-don, kodon, something like that, right? Where the loop just happens right here. Try to get this extension. It can be hard, like in your house when you have like walls and things that you don't want to break around you. So like I understand that, but yes, ideally, if the tempo is such that you can do it slow enough, we want to make sure we get the full down and then back extension of the line. Okay. And then other than that, it's just this ending crescendo. That same thing. So keeping the bachi nice and low to get the don, 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 full crescendo. Yeah. Any questions?
I did. I had a it's funny that you picked up on that Hachijo part, because when I was playing it, I was thinking, oh, this is like Hachijo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna not do Hachijo. But
well,
no,
I mean, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So I understand, but you know, I when we're doing that ka sore, and then we do the ka, I felt really stiff, like I felt like the ka, the sore, my ka were too jerky, or I don't know, they didn't feel very smooth. So does that mean I have to make bigger circles, or
Okay.
I don't know?
Let's look. Let's see what happens here.
Sore, su, sore, su.
So it doesn't look that stiff to
Really?
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It felt stiff. It felt really jerky.
For me, that's the hardest part of the body right there. It's because it's trying to do two movements that are different. Like the left hand circle is not as big as the right hand circle. And in both cases, it's really easy to have the movement affect the timing of a very sharp hit. You know, if you're a little bit early or a little bit late on a ka, it's really easy to tell as compared to being a little bit early or late on a don. So it's kind of a perfect storm. And I don't know that I would do this again if I were to like recompose the piece. It's really hard. And sometimes like for me, I feel stiff because I'm focusing so much on trying to play the ka. And sometimes I end up missing it anyway. And it's like, what was the point of feeling stiff there? But yeah, at least in this video, the way that you perform it, it doesn't look stiff. So maybe just know that that's a tendency. And, you know, it might be that with more repetition, you won't feel that way anymore. But if it still is like awkward in the long run, let me know. There might be some like drill or exercise we can make for you to work on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Good job. Okay, who is next? Paula is next. Stop share. Okay. Paula's movie. Did it work? Okay. So here we go. So this is kind of what I was talking about. Paula has a cool angle. You can see the over the shoulder and the front view. All right, so here we go. So this is just Paula's Kuchi Shoga video.
Modori, November 11th. Don, dokon, don, doko, doko, don, dokon, don, doko, don, kon, kodon, don, don, kon, kodon,
Nice. This is really good. So some things that I immediately liked are like the clarity of your kuchishoga. Not that other people were mumbling or anything like that, but there's definitely varying degrees of confidence in the kuchishoga. And that's something we want to work on. We want to get to the point where your kuchishoga feels at least as confident as you're playing, if not more. Yeah. So really making sure that you enunciate the words and that like you're kind of hearing the exact sound that you intend to make when you say the words. And Paul, this is a good example of nice, strong kuchishoga. The line 3 kata is pretty similar to the note that I just gave to Patsy, right? Yeah. And yeah, it is supposed to be similar to hachijo. So we don't want to throw that sense away. But I think you get, it's the extension part that we want to focus on a little bit there. Other than that, your motions look really smooth. And I think that you would be able to translate that to the taiko if you were to do that. So yeah, I don't have too many other notes here. This seems pretty strong. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I felt a little bit, I just wanted a little bit more clarity for myself about the motion, like the over the head. Is it kind of like when I play omiyage, I try to keep my bachi kind of laterally facing as long as possible, and then it flips. And then I know some choreography has a more smoother like brush, and then their bachi kind of point the back of the room and around that way. So I don't know, do you have any advice for that specific
Yes.
movement?
Be right back.
Oh, I scared him away. I picked up this mirror for my studio. It was free on Kijiji. Someone was giving it away, and it's like a 4-foot by 12-foot mirror. It's huge and it's beautiful. It points out all my mistakes.
Okay, so the way that I kind of think about it is, so as the it's really similar to what you said. So as the right hand is coming around here, we do want to like keep it more or less parallel to the ground. So not this. This is probably the most common thing that I see where I tell students like try to bring it, relax a little bit more. This ends up making like a really small picture for the audience. Whereas this is like really clear to see what's happening. Now, the wrist, we don't want the wrist to go too soon. And this happens sometimes. People end up going like, sudon. And then like, the audience doesn't really get to see anything if you do that with your wrist, right? So thinking about what the audience is looking at, it's kind of nice to show the line as long as you can. And then from here, my elbow is going toward the drum, but you can kind of see I'm still attempting to show this until the very end when it comes around into the strike. So that's the ideal way that I think about that movement. Do, kon, ko, don.
Okay.
Ko, don. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
really trying to delay that.
I'll try and do a drum, or at least something with bachi for next week.
Okay.
Slacker on my homework, I guess.
No. Like I said, I mean, doing air bachi with while holding bachi, you have to be careful that you don't hit too hard and hurt your wrist. So this is totally fine. But yeah, whenever you do it on the drum, you can add that element in. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks,
Yeah.
David.
Nice work.
David, while on the topic, am I on the opposite end of the spectrum then? With
Yours,
your comment?
kind of, but yours is also a little bit of a different approach because your whole loop takes so little time that it's not necessarily about just your wrist going too soon. Like your whole arm is moving really, really fast through the entire thing. So it's kind of like slowing down the first part is step one. And then from there, we'll have to kind of revisit it to see exactly what's happening with your wrist. But yeah, a little bit different. All right. So next, Ritsuko. Let's just look at Ritsuko's taiko video, which is this one. Nice. Good work, Litsuko. So immediately, like one of the things I like the best about this performance is your sense of dynamics. This is something that I usually don't specify like exactly how to do it because I think that's not productive. But specifically here, I am talking about the dynamics of your movement. If you watch this, like you watch the way that, for example, you see, like the movements are not all the same speed. There are dynamics happening here. You can see it in this line too. Oops, I skipped it. Right? Nice and slow on the way up, a little bit faster on the way down, but it doesn't look like it's rushing. This is really, really nice, Litsuko. Like having the character of the movement adds a lot to the visual parts. In terms of the
It was really hard because when I was practicing, I took this on Thursdays and I was practicing at home without the metronome.
Oh, I see.
Once I got there and then start filming, I'm rushing, and I know I rushed a little bit here too, but it's really hard doing it slow.
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, whether or not, I don't know if you like this is how you practice it and you intended to do it this way, but the result is good. It looks really nice when you're playing it this way. So yeah, I mean, you said that playing with the metronome is hard. I don't think I need to make that many notes about that. We all recognize that at this point. But yeah, the dynamics of the movements are really good, and then dynamics of the taiko parts are also good. For example, at the end of line 1 here. Right? It's a good solid medium hit, not as loud as the immediately preceding hits. Little bit of rushing in the crescendo, but you know, that can be practiced. But in general, that was a good crescendo. I would say that as compared to the ending crescendo, you should start a little quieter on this one. Right? You didn't start quite as quietly as you did in the beginning, but yeah, really good. Nice use of dynamics overall. So it's just working with the metronome to get it to come out on the taiko. That's about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice work. Okay. Last but not least, Sally. So I'm gonna skip to your taiko
Okay, not a fan of filming myself.
Yeah, me neither, Sally. All right, here's the taiko part.
Ich, ni, yo, I.
Nicely done. It's like great reverb in this room too. Okay, so Sally, the main things, some of these will just be quick because I'm going to reiterate notes that we've made. So in line 3, focusing on extending back here and not having the thing just take place in front of you. I think in general, you can relax a little bit. Like you're very accurate in hitting your cues as well as the prep movements that I kind of describe. So the accuracy is good. We just want to like round the edges a little bit more and have it feel more relaxed. Your sound quality is really good. And Sally, your ki is great. Like the sa, sol, le, all that stuff. We should try to focus on that because if everyone does it that way, it's very powerful. That's really nice to see that in this video, Sally. Yeah, and really good timing too. Nice strong timing. So I think like that can be hard. Good timing sometimes comes with stiffness in the body because we're so like trying to control the exact thing. But we want to have the smoothness of the movements with the accuracy of the timing, which like even I have to spend all my time practicing that. It's very hard, but yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. Because back to the metronome, but because the metronome is so square, how do we swing it? Are we going to get a swing G?
Yeah. So when we do the actual, I guess I can stop sharing. When we do the actual recordings, like what I'll do is make a practice track of you with like scratch recordings of all the instruments, shime, the chu. So you'll be listening to basically the song while recording it. And you'll just be adding your part into the mix of what you're hearing. Yeah, we want to have the sense for the swing, of course, but when you do the actual thing, you'll have a swing 16th or a shuffle 16th underneath what you're doing. Yeah, cool. Great work, everyone. Like these are, I'm really excited that this is our starting point. This means like, I think by the time we actually practice it and get comfortable with it, like this is going to be a really fun and strong recording that we can put together at the end. Many of you or some of you had questions about like exactly how to use the metronome, literally how do you use it? And so with the last 5 minutes or so, that's what I want to work on today. So if we can, well, if you need it, you can load up the spreadsheet with the kuchishoga on it. But basically like, there's not, I don't know if there's like a one sort of silver bullet to giving you better timing with a metronome. There's a few methods that you can try and they're all kind of important. But if I just, I'll turn on the metronome here and so, wait, go away. So something like this. So one thing is to go through and like, this is an eighth note right now. You could look at the spreadsheet and it has the 1 and 2 and 3 and so on at the top, right? And so what you'll do is you'll go really, really slowly breaking it down by the parts. So we could look at 1A, right? And 1A goes don, doko, don, doko, doko, okay? So every time that there's a 1 or an and where a beat is on there, we want to make sure that we're saying that word exactly when the metronome clicks. Okay, so I can turn it on. Right, and then I can go don, doko, don, doko, doko, and I can just look at it, right? Don, doko, doko. Right? Whenever I say do, basically, I need to make sure that I'm saying it on a click. Okay, and you do this. You don't have to do any movement or any kind of erbachi or anything. This is just checking that we understand the rhythm of the kuchishoga in the beginning, okay? We can take a more complicated like pattern 2, right? So we have don, su, don, right? So same thing. I can think don, su, don, okay? This kind of syncopation is a little bit trickier, okay? There's no beat, there's no word that we're saying on beat 2. So when I have the metronome, and I'm thinking 1 and 2. Well, I know that that don, according to the spreadsheet, the second hit is on the of 1. So I need to hear a click right after I say that word, okay? For example, don, su, don, su, do, click, don, su, do, click, right? I'm listening for the click to come right after I say the of 1. Don, su, don, ko, don, don. At the end, right? Ko, don, and don are exactly on beat 3 and 4. So I can check that exactly when the click happens is when I say that word. Does this make sense to everyone? Or does anyone have questions about like this method? Okay. Gosh, the time flies. I want to do one more thing. So this is a little bit harder. Ideally, like once you figure this way of analyzing the pattern with the metronome out, then we can clap while saying the patterns, okay? There are many ways to do this. I often just because of force of habit end up clapping on like the and or between the beat, but it's easier for most people to be clapping on the beat. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Either way, it's the point of this exercise is that you understand where the regular beats are falling, and then you're comparing what you say to the regularity of those beats. Okay, so if we do the same thing, metronome goes on, and we're clapping 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I would even just do that for several bars just to get the sense of where are the beats and can I accurately clap them. Okay, don't take that for granted. Sometimes it's not that easy to be really accurate with your clapping in a steady way. Okay, but once I can do that, then I would say dom, doko, dom, doko, doko, dom, doko, dom, doko, don, dom, doko, don, right? I am allowing my body to be the metronome, and I have to take care with the same things. When I get to 2A, don, su, dom, all right? I need to clap right after I say the second dom because that is where beat 2 falls, okay? Does anyone have questions about that exercise of clapping? Okay, so I want to get us on our way here. What you can expect just really quickly for this next week, I'm going to start uploading videos and spreadsheet materials for the intro and the ending of the piece. So I'll send an email when that stuff is available and you can start looking at it. There's no assigned homework for this week. So I would recommend you to kind of get out your metronome and do some of the exercises that we did just to make sure that these beats are really clear in your mind where they're supposed to fall, okay? Next week, what we'll try to do is I'd like to have us sing them together, like the whole body, okay? So once you're feeling good at our sort of slow tempos, our 80 to 92 eighth note or 40 to 46 quarter note tempo that you're setting, try to slowly, increase that in a way that's still comfortable for you until we're in the 60 to 64 BPM range, okay? Quarter note, 60 to 64. All right, any last questions before we do our closing aisatsu? Paula.
I didn't do a drum video. I just ran out of time this week. Do you want me to do one on the drum and send it to you for feedback as well, or?
So all of you are welcome to basically send me as much as you want for feedback. I say that feeling like there's no way you can send me so much that I won't be able to go through it all, but maybe I shouldn't challenge you that way. But yeah, if you want to, you can. You don't have to, Paula, but any of you, if you want to do additional recordings and have me give you feedback at any time, I'm happy to do that. Anything else? Great. So for the closing one, so we can do unmute and I'll say domo and we'll all say arigatou gozaimashita at the same time. Here we go. Domo. Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
See you. Bye. Thank you, Dave.